Hi Watercolour Wizards, and welcome to the second draw and critique for this thing that we do every month. Here are the 8 entries, and I just wanted you to see them in their full lovely colour, and a gorgeous parade of birds they are, aren't they? So well done everybody who's entered. I know some of you did 2 versions, but you've indicated to me which one you'd liked for the critique. So here they are. Okay, so let's go over to our Watercolour Wizard Roulette Wheel. I've inserted everybody's names. We've got 8 names there. So the first 3 people that are drawn by this random selector will either win a PDF of one of my magazines, and there are 10 issues to have, and you can read that on a digital device, or you can print it off because they're only 36 pages long. Or you can choose to have one of my watercolour animal prints sent as a digital file that you can then print at whatever size you want to for your own use. Okay, so good luck everybody. Let's have a spin. Okay, Charlene, congratulations. A magazine or a print will be yours. Let's remove Charlene now. Thanks for entering, Charlene. And Alison, congrats Alison. You had a magazine last time, so you can have a magazine again or an animal print. Thanks for entering your Heron. I'll remove Alison now. Susan. Right, so Sue, you get a magazine or a print as well, and thanks for entering your 2 versions, but we picked one. We had picked one, so thanks, Susan. Okay, so the 5 people left now. 3 of you will be getting a critique, so let's see who the winners are going to be. Oh, Nancy, there we go. It was right on the border there, wasn't it? Nancy, congratulations. We'll be critiquing yours shortly. Diana, congratulations, Diana. Stay tuned for your critique. And the last one, Jude. Yeah, congratulations, Jude. So you 3 ladies will be critiqued shortly. Stay tuned, everybody. All right, so the first person we're going to have a look at today is Diana. So thanks, Diana, for doing this project, because it's really, you got to be brave, haven't you, to pick 4 colours at random and then try and create your own bird from it. It's difficult because it means you are having to solve all the problems yourself that you might encounter. I'm not doing it for you. And I think this is the only way to really sort of start getting your confidence as an artist, by doing these studies, just using the grayscale as your guide. Okay, so Diana's first image here is the full colour one, and look at this beautiful selection of really decadent purples going into pink, magenta, and then the emerald green, and I think there's some sort of burnt sienna colour there as well. And this is what I've said about your work, Diana. I love these daring hues, Diana. They have a jewelled and decadent look and really push the limits of what we expect in a bird's plumage. I admire the more muted greyed versions of those colours in the feet and legs, with those delicate touches of purer colour to echo those found in the main body. So well done on that. Your painting is coherent in that you've used all your 4 hues They're all in evidence, and then slightly greyed versions in the legs where they're not needed to be so bright. And you've got the hot pink, on the chest there, which is sort of quite a focal point. Okay, so the eye, super eye as well, and the legs emerge invisibly from the body with no hard edges. So that's your colour version. Now, let's have a look at what it looks like in grayscale. Okay, so here's Diana's image in grayscale. The bird holds together well, but we can see clearly now that overall the bird is one tone of grey. If you squint at it, it's mostly one tone of grey. You have got some paler areas here, Diana, and a couple of little dark accents, but overall I'd say it's greyish. Okay, so what I recommend doing is introducing some lighter and some darker areas to add as a contrast and to help build a 3D shape, because at the moment the body seems a little bit flat, and we can push it further, we can get it past that. Okay, so what I would suggest doing is imagining the shape of the bird as an elongated ovoid shape, like a sort of elongated Easter egg shape. Okay, and then you'd need to decide, right, is my light source coming from at the top, from the side, bottom, the other side, wherever. You need to decide on a light source. Personally, I would go for somewhere sort of to the left, shining down this way, so the light would shine on that chest area, because we know that bulges out, bulges forward. And when you do that, you need to also still take account of the fact that some of the feathers are naturally darker anyway, irrespective of where the light is hitting them. So these are things we've got to consider. Okay, you can take some artistic license to get your overall message across, obviously. So what I've done now, let's look at the posterized value. Now what I've done is I've put an egg shape there, Diana. Okay, now obviously this is lit from the top, and the two sides, the two flanks are grey, dark black, and the main body is sort of grey. But this is just to give you an idea. You might choose a different light source, and your light would be hitting different areas. So what was I saying there? So the egg shape is just an idea to make you think, I need to create that bird to make it look plump. Okay, so your shading on the feet and legs is fine. You've got highlights. Let me just zoom in a bit more. You've got highlights on the left hand sides of the legs and darker on the right hand side, so that's really good. And in the posterized version, we can see where the whites are scattered. See, there's some here, some there, some there. So they're scattered, as well as some of the black. They are scattered, and they tend to break up the overall look of the bird as you're squinting at it. I've pushed it to the extreme, obviously. So I would say well done on harnessing these 4 colours for a start. Okay, but try now thinking of how you could go for a more rounded form, a form that's going to come off the page in some places. You've started to do it here, you see, that's paler there and is shown here. Okay, but a little bit more, and then a bit more sort of coherence, maybe a bit darker over this area here, this whole top flank of the bird. Okay, so thank you for entering, Diana, for working independently with your 4 colours and achieving this lovely bird. So now we have Nancy's bird, and this has been done with some lovely soft washes in the background and a mossy sort of support, and the colours in here are also echoed in the bird. So this is how Nancy's sort of chosen to employ her colours. So this is what I've said about Nancy's heron. So the wonderfully detailed and multi-hued work on the leg and feet is great. Let me zoom in on that, because there's a lot of work there. And I brought you in because the moss it's harder to see them on the moss, but now we can see them a lot more closely, going up to sort of bits of yellow, bits of purple, and then the dark shadows. Lovely work there, Nancy, with that. Okay, let me zoom back out again. Okay, plus I love the richly coloured face and beak and the shiny eye. I like your take on the mossy support and the loose wet into wet background, all hues echoed in the bird. Well done as well on the detailed feathering work that you've done. He has a gorgeous cloak of feathers and your legs blend well up into his undercarriage. I feel the jowl could be softer with the less defined line in this area. Let me just show you what I mean there, Nancy. Okay, see this line here? I'm thinking it's a little bit too strong in what might be some soft feathers around his jowl. So maybe if that could be just knocked back with a slightly moist brush, see what you think. Okay, just to sort of soften that in, because it's taking my eye strongly there. Okay, and then what else? As we look at the grayscale now, Nancy, let's have a look how yours is holding up. Okay, so it's holding together fairly well, and the only thing that's jumping out at me are these three feathers here. You can see them here, and then the grayscale, they tend to sort of form maybe like a bit of a hole in the wing. So I maybe would darken those a couple of tones, Nancy, so they're more together. There's not so much of a disconnect there. Okay, and let's have a look. And then the posterized version, let me have a look now. Okay. So the posterized version shows that area again. It's quite strong, and it sort of breaks up the overall shape of the body. Now this one, Nancy, this posterized grayscale is only 3 tones, obviously. So the white and then mid-grey and then black is all we've got. And I do this to show you just how well your painting will hold together. And I'm feeling that here, you've got that lovely shade under the chin there and the white jowl, but it's quite broken up and we're losing, you know, the overall definition, outline of the bird, if you would agree. And so I think overall it could be a tad, little tone darker to hold that together. And these downward strokes here, I think they are a little bit, they could be blended a bit more away. Blend them away to nothing there, Nancy, I would say. Okay, because I feel that they are cutting the bird too strongly. You see what I mean? Cutting the bird just down there a bit. So you could either choose to add a dilute wash around this area just to sort of meld them in, or just soften them away with a slightly moist brush so that they're not so finite. The end isn't so finite. That's the word I'm looking for. Okay, but the lovely detail that you've got in these feathers is really pretty, and they look really wispy and everything. So I'd like to say, you know, thanks for entering your work in this month's gallery, Nancy. And again, same as with Diana, doing all your own thinking, all your own problem solving, and working things out under your own speed with your own colours. So you should be proud of your work, both of you. Okay, so now we have our final critique, and this is Jude. So Jude's bird is really sort of warm and rich colours. It's funny, isn't it? We all picked such different colours because of that random selection. You just never know what you're going to end up with. So what I've said of Jude's work is, for me, this bird reminds me of a Victorian scientific illustration that I may find in an encyclopedia. It's lovely and suave with very unusual colours. He has a quiet presence and you have gorgeous feathering work. Your blends are lovely and gradual with super chinks of light showing through, giving a little gleam here and there. If I can just zoom in for us all to see that a little bit better. See, there's this sort of gleam here and on the beak. And then these very delicate, bony, sinewy legs with, again, touches of that yellow, same as that yellow, some of that green, blue. You know, this is nice and harmonious. Here, maybe, Jude, I might try and feather that down instead of having that sort of little line there. Just maybe soften it a little bit. This is small things though. Lovely sinewy work on those feet. Let me just get it up a little bit larger for everyone to see. Okay. So I feel the bony quality of his sinewy feet and legs looks really effective. And now let's look at the grayscale. Okay, so the grayscale reveals a coherent tonal arrangement with just enough rounding here and curve to push out that highlighted chest. Could have gone a bit further, but overall I'm feeling that roundness there, while the bird is still maintaining this integrity. Okay, it's not being blown apart by too strong a tonal contrast. So finally, and again on the legs, the little chinks in between the toes, that's working well, is giving us a bit more sort of tactile feel and a 3D effect. And then in the posterized grayscale version, there we can see again the tones are hanging together well. There's enough contrast between the mid and then the black here, and then we got that highlight on the chest as well. I think you could probably go a little bit darker, say some of this black under there where the belly and undercarriage and the tops of his legs, you could blend that in and then soften it away so you go black, grey, white. But a beautiful effect, Jude, overall. And I think congratulations are due for working out all these problems yourself with 4 very unique colours. So everybody, well done on the work that you've done. I'm just showing you all there. It's a lot of work and it's a lot of thinking, and these are the sort of steps that a lot of people, you know, don't take, either because they're not pushed to do it, or they don't believe they can do it, or because, you know, it can be quite painful sometimes because you are working to arrange tones as well as local colour. Local colour sometimes just doesn't change despite the light or darkness on it, you know, so you have to accommodate local colour in things with your tonal arrangement. But these are the things that artists think about, so I hope you're enjoying having a go with these and that you're feeling more confident each time. So again, thanks everybody for entering. It's lovely to see the gallery in the morning. I wonder who's put an image in there. So the deadline for the next one will be the last day of February. Make sure you upload your work by then. And then I'm hoping I won't be ill again next month and I'll be on time with this critique. So apologies for the delay in this critique. So thanks everybody, and I'll see you in the next tutorial.